Oh, just want to say glad to be back with you guys. Uh, I'm sure Dave and Kerry are as well. Um, I don't need these guys don't need any introduction. If you don't know who they are, today's your lucky day because you're going to find out. Um, I'm excited. I'm at a loss for words because I was checking my screens and making sure all my buttons were pushed. Somebody in my comment chat the other day said you need to make you a go live list to make sure you check all your buttons, cross all your T's, and dot all your I's. I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. I think I got that down now, but every once in a while I get amazed by something. But I'm glad you all made it back. Hopefully, we're going to have a good conversation. As always, if you have a question for us, make sure to put a cue by it so that I can pick up on it, catch everything, and we're excited to see you guys. What's going on, fellas? Y'all been excited about tonight or what?
Excited to be here. It's yeah, it's good to get on with you guys on a Saturday evening or a Sunday morning, depending where you are in the world. How are you doing, Kerry?
I'm doing wonderful, thanks. Yeah, excited to be here too. I've watched you guys with Kip several times now, so yeah, happy to join.
Absolutely. Glad to have you with us too, sir, and all the great things. I mean, there may be some people in the audience that don't know Kerry from Homestead How and all the plans and things that you got going on, but I guess I take that for granted. So um, with the movie coming up, and not just the movie, but like he was on my show earlier this week and talking about your own personal journey. Uh, and how it's affected you and everything. So I've been looking forward to it and excited. I know Kip went live earlier. I said, "Hey, dude, what are you doing?" He's like, "I missed everybody." I was like, "Well, you could have just come on the show with us, brother." Well, you made the thumbnail. I'm like, "That's just a thumbnail, man. You like family, come on." But I understand he's been taking time with his family, and that's respectable, and I appreciate that, and that's something to be admired. And I find that you know a, more important as well. So, what about you guys? What I guess that'll be my question. I'll start the questions off tonight before they get started. Like, what do your guys' family think about the YouTube stuff? Like, I know it's a lot of work and a lot of this and a lot of stuff that you don't realize at first whenever you get started. But so Kerry, we'll start with you, Kerry, because I know you've been doing it 8 years. What does your family think about it?
Oh, good question. It depends on who you ask. Some of them are just sick of it because always like, hey, we got to film something, got to do something. Others, like my daughter Emma, who's some people know here, a carnivore with me now. She's kind of enjoying it. We did a live stream earlier. She's been a little nervous to go on camera, but I haven't pushed her at all. She wants to because she's finding it a good way to be accountable. As she's on her 32nd day of being a carnivore now. Um, so yeah, it's been pretty good for me personally. I love it because there's so many videos that I've done that I can look back on, like from 6 years ago, 7 years ago, 8 years ago, and it's like, wow, these are really good family memories. I said this. I recently hit 100,000 subscribers, which that was my goal on YouTube from the beginning. And one of the best parts of that is like someday, God willing, if I'm an old man, I'll be able to look back at all these memories, like when they were first moved into our homestead and things like that. So I like it for that reason as well. I probably would have frankly quit YouTube a long time ago if it wasn't for that reason. So
that's awesome, man. Dave, what about you? What's your
Um,
thing?
my family are kind of like, yeah, just like, why are you spending so much time in front of the computer? That kind of thing, you know. Why do you occasionally walk around the house with a blue wig on? That kind of stuff, you know.
Right.
So, like my daughter kind of likes it. She's, especially those videos where I do wear the blue wig. She kind of that she gets a kick out of that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, so Steph asked Dave, did you quit drinking the same day you started carnivore?
I did indeed. Well, if you class it as carnivore, the first day I started it was keto, and I was keto for a little while, but basically yes, same day. June 3, 2022. Yeah.
That's amazing. Congratulations too on hitting your 1 year on both
Yeah,
fronts.
thank you. Thank
What
you.
a what
Thank
an
you very much.
achievement. As if it's hard enough not to quit sugar and carbs and processed food. You did both of them at once. That's amazing.
I honestly think though, that once you get the sugar out, it feels like, or once you get the carbs and the sugar out, it feels like you've got this renewed self-control that helps you with the alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's kind of just, it builds on itself. So yeah. Sugar's deadly.
Well, and one of the things too that like I noticed is because I haven't drunk in a long time. Drunk, however you say it. I'm sure somebody will correct me before it's over. I haven't drank alcohol in a while. However, like coming from the depression and all those kinds of things, and the way that it's affected my mind, I often compare the depression and the shape that I was in. The only thing close to comparing it to is, being in a whole different frame of mind, almost like alcohol. So I don't know, man. That I can't imagine, and I've told you before. This is no secret. I'm super proud of you, man, and I wanted to congratulate you on your sobriety for as long as you have as well. And but that's the only thing that I have to like to compare it to with the depression, because unless you've been in, that depression is so dark and so deep, but it's not much, as far as being the mind frame, I guess you would say, as
Yeah.
as because I think everybody that goes on carnivore overall is going to be so different minded about it once the nutrients start pumping in, and I guess it's hard to explain, but it definitely clears stuff up, and I've heard everybody talk about that. Go ahead, Dave.
I 100% agree. 100%. And that's, people will say, oh, I could never do that. I could never do that. But they don't know what's going to shift once you start doing it. They don't know what's going to change about your mindset and everything else once you start doing it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
One thing I was going to say on the drinking front, I don't know if you guys get this, but we had a bunch of family over, family reunion. And when they hear about my way of eating now for 82 days, I keep getting this comment of, you should just eat regular food in moderation. And it is always annoying to me. I don't want to compare eating food and sugar as an addiction as bad as alcohol or another drug. But to me, it's kind of, for me, I just have a highly addictive behavior. So I look at it kind of like I quit sugar, I quit carbs. So I can't just do that. I can't have a piece of birthday cake in moderation. Some people can, but I can't. But that was one comment I probably heard like 10 times when we had this big get together. It just drove me nuts. Just eat in moderation. I'm like, okay, good for you. You can do that, but I can't do that myself.
I think a lot of people that find themselves on carnivore are in a similar boat. They're people that just don't do moderation. Like I don't do moderation at all. It's all or nothing.
Most of us don't. And what's odd to me about that is that would be like me saying, hey, Dave, why don't you just have a couple of shots of Jack Daniels instead of the whole bottle?
Yeah.
It just shows you how warped our minds are, and it's generally accepted as it's just moderation. It's not that stuff is toxic. It's that you just have to moderate the toxicity, that doesn't work. It's the proper human diet. And I know it gets repetitive and whatnot, but like, it's what you're putting in your body. You cannot make building blocks to run your body off of something that does not provide what it needs. So if you go back to putting the wrong thing in, you're going to go back to being how you were before you started putting the right thing in. So I think it has to be the mental transformation.
100%.
Susan asks, how do you think mRNA affects the beef we eat? That's a good question. Dave, you want to take a stab at that one?
I'm going to go with, in my total 100% uneducated opinion, I'm going to go with it's probably not going to be good.
Mhm.
It's probably not a good thing. But I mean, I don't know. I have no qualifications to speak on it, but I guess not good.
Yeah.
Kerry, what about you?
Yeah, I would say similarly. As someone with I have very little knowledge on what's going on in that area. A lot of the beef, I'm fortunate I get local from my neighbors, and they grow it themselves, and they're not doing anything like that currently. But yeah, I get that comment a lot on my channel, so it's definitely not something I would be interested in eating.
Mm.
Absolutely. I think personally for me, and as these guys stated, you should have hit me up with that one when I was talking to Professor K. Before I was talking to Professor K, he probably explained it, and I'm positive he could explain it in a lot greater detail than I can. I don't think we need to add anything outside of how it's always been to give us what we need. Our ancestors ate what they killed whenever they were out hunting, and I think honestly that's adequate enough. I mean, I don't think that if you should in a perfect world we could go back to that same setup and make it here just fine. I don't think you have to have a bunch of supplements or a lot of vitamins or a lot of whatever. If we would literally go back to how we did it 5, 6, 700 years ago, whatever, um, it would be adequate enough. And I'm not saying they didn't have crops and grow fields, but I can guarantee you they didn't have McDonald's and Burger King and swing by the Aldi's and swing by the Publix and whatever you have, wherever you are to pick something up. It's warped our way of thinking. It's made it so accessible that we can throw it up or have as much as we want, and it throws a monkey wrench in everything. So I don't think they need I don't think they need anything injected into them. But there again, back to the I'm not I'm not adequately qualified to speak to that much more than that. Let's see. You guys, if you got any questions, put a Q bomb and
We got a question at 9:12 Eastern from, it's just jumped, from DB.
there you
B
go.
Mets.
My husband was wanting me to ask you all to make carnivore more interesting. He says he's getting overdosed on the rich steaks and stuff. Okay. He's not used to eating the same thing every day. Who wants that one? You guys are both looking excited.
I'll take a shot first if you don't mind, Dave.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
So I'm on day 82. These guys have been going way longer than me, so they'll probably have a better answer than me. But I haven't gotten too sick yet. Maybe after day 82 I will. But I've been eating regularly the same things. But recently, and Carnivore Kip can probably speak to this a little bit more, I started smoking meat, and it's been a game changer for me. I did a couple where I reverse sear a steak, smoke it on low and slow for like 2 hours, and then sear it. And oh my goodness, it was a game changer. I said to Emma the other day, I was like, I kind of wish I didn't do this because it's so delicious now. Every time I want a steak, I got to go out and smoke it. So that could be one thing. Just try preparing it differently. Other thing too is we'll switch it up every now and then and have it's mostly just beef, butter, bacon, eggs for me, but every now and then we'll add some shrimp or salmon. And then the last thing I'll say is just different cuts of steak. I feel like being in this for a while now, I'm noticing how meat tastes differently. Like if I have a sirloin steak versus a ribeye steak, there's really some big differences. I don't know if that's just because I've eaten so much steak now, but I could close my eyes and tell you what type of steak I'm eating. So, yeah, that's what I would say. What do you think, Dave?
So I actually don't eat steak very often. Basically, I only eat ground beef, and um, I have just never. I was worried at the start that I would get bored, but I've never ever have actually reached that point, and that might also be because I'm just doing one meal a day, but I look forward to the meal in the morning, and then I'm quite happy once I've eaten. I'm very, very full, and then I never even think about food again. So yeah, I haven't experienced that. How about you, Shawn?
Um, I think that the variety that people want is directly linked and connected to the addiction, is what I think. I think that we trick ourselves into thinking that we need a variety or that we get bored with something because it's not going to be enough. When I think that's part of the addiction. We think that we're not because I used to never hardly eat steak either. I didn't want it. My wife can attest to it. Anybody who took me out, I would never get steak. It was always hamburgers or hot dogs. And if you think about it, we think we go off of variety so much whenever we eat the standard American diet. But in reality, what is the most argued thing between a husband and their wife when they're eating the sad diet 95% of the time? What you want for dinner, sweetheart? I don't know what you want. I don't know what you want. And you can have anything you want. So, I mean, everybody at home right now is like, yeah, we do. We have had that. If you haven't, honestly, it's true. So I think they're linked together because once I had no intentions of doing beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. For the month of June, I even cut out the eggs. I've had nothing but a ribeye steak every day with butter, and I still kept my coffee. Sorry, Dr. Chafee. But like, if you had asked me 2 years ago if that was going to be what I desired, I would have been like, man, I don't even want it now. But like I said, that mental transformation changes the way you view things. And you get to the point and where you realize that, like, I don't give thought to food. I use it for fuel. Whenever my body gives me the signals and says, hey, it's time for some fuel because I need some energy, I give it to it, and then I go on about my way. I don't give it thought anymore. I give it about as much thought as I think about whenever I'm filling my car up with fuel so I can make it home. It's the same process. As far as the steak, it's not about, like, I promise you can't eat the standard American diet for what I eat steaks every day for. If it was that expensive, I would not be able to do it. I mean, if that's what you're saying, as far as the rich thing, because when I eat my steaks with Kerrygold butter and eggs, I eat for between $14 to $17 a day, somewhere right in there. There's no way in the world I could even come. Just one sub sandwich from Jersey Mike's cost $20 when I was eating those, and that was one meal. And I would also need some chips and a drink, which was extra. So, I mean, honestly, your mind changes, and if you eat strictly what you're supposed to, that changes as well, and is really going to help you out. So, tell him to jump in and try it out. He'll see what I'm talking about real quick. But yeah, it'll help him. Anybody else got? He'll be excited. Aaliyah, what is moderation? Laugh out loud. I was also addicted to food, right? Yeah, I don't know if that was quite a question. Is that a question or a statement? Right? Oh,
100%.
let's see here. What is dirty keto?
Oh, hello, Eve.
Dave, you want to hit that one? I've never done keto. I know what keto is, but I mean, you said you started out on like keto, right? So I mean, you want to?
I from talking to someone the other day, because I was discussing this in an interview the other day, and I think dirty keto means different things to different people, but we kind of reached the consensus that dirty keto tends to be like, eating all the keto bars and all that kind of thing. So anything that's labeled keto that's in a package, because at the end of the day, it's dirty. It's not going to be good for you.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's kind of like dirty carnivore. A lot of people talk about dirty carnivore. Like, if you're eating carnivore and you still keep the sauces or spices and stuff. If it's not an animal product and comes from an animal, then it's not carnivore. Like, if you don't see what a lion's eating, it's not carnivore. Do I think people should run around with their carnivore badges being like, let me see your ingredients, like that? I mean, no, I don't think that's like the whole process of it, but at the same time, I mean, if we're going to call something what it is, the only way that we can distinguish the difference is for it to have defined, limits, So,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's kind of the same thing. Kerry, you got anything to add on that before I go to this next one, sir?
Yeah, I did keto for years, on and off, and yeah, I agree with Dave. Dirty keto would be that's what really messed me up on keto was all those keto products. I think I've said this before, but I was telling somebody I was like, when I first started keto 10 years ago, like I'm a veteran keto person, I was like, we didn't have any of that stuff you kids got nowadays. You just eat meat and cheese, and that was it. Now you go to the store and you got keto tortillas, keto ice cream, keto bread. I used to think that was a good thing until I realized that was really messing me up when I was doing keto. It would stall me out. I'd get inflammation and I'll have all sorts of issues because of it. When I was doing keto, I was trying to stay under 20 carbs. And so I think dirty keto too is people that maybe don't keep a close eye on it, but maybe they're staying away from birthday cake and sugar, but trying to stay lower carb, but maybe not necessarily staying under the 20 carbs. But
Well, and that's easy to do too, man, because like me and my wife were talking about that, and she made some like keto soup one time before she went carnivore. And if you're not really careful, it's real easy to go over those. And I think that's a lot of the issue too that I have noticed in the private group with some folks who are doing keto, but like they can't seem to get that results. Their blood sugar just isn't quite going down. Um, maybe it's just that you're actually getting a little more carbs than what you think you're getting. I don't know, I just know that it would be like for me, there's no way I could do keto because a little bit of that taste, and just the variety really that you can have from the different stuff on keto would send me packing, dude. I would be
And
back in a heartbeat. Go ahead, Dave.
could I just add to that?
Mhm.
The real issue with that is like your blood sugar is always going to be out of whack because as soon as that sweetness, even if it's sugar alcohol and it's no calorie or it's zero carb or whatever, as soon as that touches your tongue, your blood sugar spikes, because your body's going, hey, there's sugar coming, I better get ready for this.
Absolutely.
And yeah, so you're always driving yourself haywire, and that's, I guess, why it's so easy to fall back out of keto.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We got to keep our minds on it for sure. D says, what does a normal eating window look like for you? For me, no, I'm just kidding. For me, like whenever I was doing intermittent fasting and I was planning on it, and even now, I would eat at 10 and about 2. So I tried to keep it in like a 20-24 window. I started out at what is it, 16-8, I guess, window, and then kind of just moved it together. But now it's just literally I ate at 10 and 2 every day, and I just don't think about it. But I also don't purposefully plan to intermittent fast anymore. What about you, Dave? Dave, do you intermittent fast at all?
Yeah. So after I'd been on this diet for about 2 weeks, I guess, I started one meal a day by accident. And so I'm coming up on my 12-year anniversary. 12-month anniversary of one meal a day.
See how time flies?
Yeah. So yeah. How about you, Kerry?
yeah, I do 2 meals a day, one day, usually between like noon and 6. I'll have like bacon and eggs, and then maybe a patty, ground beef, burger patty or something later. And then the next day I'll usually have like a ribeye. I always tell people though, I get this question a lot. I always say it just so many people will be like, what do you do? What do you eat? Like, what is this? Like, they're going to copy it. And I always tell people, you got to be really careful. Everyone's so individual and different. My daughter, Emma, for example, she's like half my weight. She eats more food than I do, being a carnivore for 32 days. And if you
Mhm.
think about it, it makes sense. I have more body fat. I've lost a bunch of weight, but I still have more to lose. So when I go in ketosis, I'm burning the body fat. Emma's like a twig. She hardly has any. So she has to eat more just to maintain. So I always tell people it's always different. And even for me, if you ask me maybe 3 months from now, maybe most of the fat will be gone. Hopefully, I'll probably be eating a lot more than I am now, or maybe I'll go to 2 meals a day or something like that. So I think it's different for everybody. But yeah, I don't plan it either, like you guys. one time I found myself, I just didn't eat the whole day. I was like, oh my goodness, I ate anything today. But I kind of just, like Dr. Barry says, eat till I'm comfortably full. Sometimes it's once, sometimes it's twice.
Yeah. And I'm pretty excited.
Mm.
Like I've been following, like, ever since I met you and started, talking with you. I've been following like what you talk about Emma, and I was gonna try to get her on. Obviously, it was conflicting time because somebody had even asked about it. But since we were talking about her, and you have the shirt on, will you just mention that real quick before we go any further? I don't even know if Dave, have you heard about the movie that he's gonna start making and everything?
I saw a post about it, but I haven't got the details. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'd like to hear.
Awesome. Kerry, tell them about the movie and the shirt and Emma and those, all that stuff, so that everybody hears it while they know. Please, sir, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sorry, my internet was jumping a little bit there for a second. Yeah, so trying to put together a documentary movie on carnivore. That's kind of my big goal. So we set up a website, and part of this was with my daughter. One of the things that came was this compassionate carnivore thing, because my daughter Emma was a vegan, and she was a vegan because she's compassionate for animals. And one of the things that we sort of realized together was, I truly believe that carnivore is the most compassionate diet you can do. I'm eating, I guess it depends on how you do it, but I'm saying this for myself. So I'm eating beef that I get locally from my neighbors. One cow dies, I get hundreds of meals off of that cow. And if you look at the other way, and I'm not calling anyone out or like judging anyone. If you're vegan, if you eat that way, that's fine. The only reason I say this is because I get so many comments on my channel saying that I'm such a horrible person killing animals. And one of the things I've read that I found so interesting was that 62 million birds die per year, per the EPA. Anyone can Google this and see it, from pesticide poisoning from vegetables. And if you really look into what goes into eating the multitude of different vegetables, like my daughter Emma was eating before she went carnivore, that's just birds. Then there's deer, fox, rabbit. I mean, there's a lot of destruction. So I really believe carnivore is the most compassionate way to eat. And so, yeah, we made these shirts up, and every penny from these shirts goes towards the documentary movie. And just, I guess, real quick, the documentary movie, it's carnivoredietmovie.com is the website. And I'm not making a penny off of it. Every penny that goes towards the shirts, or even if you join my YouTube channel, or if we set up a GoFundMe, all of those go towards the documentary. And what we're trying to do with the documentary is, I've never seen anything like this. So, and I wish somebody else would make it, but I don't see anybody making it. But I want a documentary that's truthful and honest about carnivore, but I want it to follow real people, ideally for a year. And not just people that are obese, but people that have had other issues like Shawn and I have had with the depression, diabetes, arthritis, all of the other issues that people are just having amazing results with carnivore on. I want to cover those in a documentary. One of the biggest things I've heard Dr. Barry say is, you got to just be an example. You can't push anyone. You can't force anyone. They have to make their own decision. I totally agree with that. So with this documentary, that's kind of the goal, is let's put out a lot of examples from various different people, and just so people can know about it. The biggest reason I want to do this, Shawn and I talked about this when we did that video together, it was just with the depression that I've had in the past, and Shawn too, you used the best word. It was just hopeless, complete hopelessness. And it's the same thing on the other end too, with people that are obese. Like, they've tried every single diet, they're hopeless. And so I wish I knew about carnivore 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And we're getting the word out with YouTube, but I think we can reach a lot of other people. I always say to people on my channel too, I'm like, this YouTube thing is awesome, but I think there's so many more carnivores out in the world. We're just seeing this small cross section of carnivores that also happen to frequent YouTube a lot. Not everybody does that. We're kind of unusual individuals, you know what I mean? So
Right.
I think there's a lot of other people maybe that could see a documentary like this on Netflix or one of the streaming services. So that's kind of the idea behind it. We've got an outline for the documentary. We've got the GoFundMe going. A bunch of people are buying the shirts. And I'm meeting with a documentary filmmaker next week that's done a bunch of documentaries for the BBC. So I've got the whole outline for it already drafted. So we're making some really good progress. It's pretty exciting. And I guess the last thing I'll say is, I'm really hoping to pull in like Dr. Barry or Dr. Chafee or one of those guys as well. So I have some upcoming videos with both of them, and I don't want to put them on the spot, but I'm gonna put them on the spot. I'm gonna ask them at least. I'm gonna say, maybe tell me offline or something, but see if they want to participate in some way.
Yeah, I mean, you never know until you ask, man. I mean, honestly, and that's the thing. And when I heard about it, it inspired me because I'm like, man, that's awesome. I've watched the Reverse series, and everybody has their opinion about it, and that's cool. Everybody's entitled to that. I've actually, I would, not. I don't know if I told this on the live the other day or not, but like I tried to get on Reverse season 3, and I just couldn't work it out. But seeing what they're doing, man, nobody else is doing stuff like that, and what better way than to get it in front on everybody's TV, for whatever. I don't know. I think it's great. So if you guys, I'll put a link down to obviously their stuff. I'll put a link down to the movie website and Kerry, so you guys can go find that there if you want to have more information and stay updated with that. I just wanted to mention that before we moved on. It's pretty exciting, huh, Dave?
Yeah, it's a really it's really important that we use methods like that to get the word out there, because as you say, as much as we're getting the word out there through YouTube and all that kind of thing,
Mhm.
and to have other channels to do it.
Absolutely. Well,
Mm.
and like whenever me and Kip started, even this right here, like this all started like I was like, man, I was sitting here, my very first two videos, other than the walking one on my channel, were lives, and I'm like, man, I'm nervous, I stutter, and I feel like that's starting to finally clear out a little bit. Um, but I would much rather communicate with the people and just be live and out in the open and deal with it like that. And then me and Kip was like, well, I've never done a live. And I'm like, well, why not, man? Let's go right now. He's like, well, what are we going to, basically what we're going to talk about. I've been wanting to do it. I was like, we just go in there and have fun and interact with the people and tell them what we know and what we do. I think that's amazing. And then it just grew into something else. So, but
Mm.
I could ramble on. Everybody, there's like 262 people between what I can see in the channels. Make sure you are punching the like button, sharing it, so they push the video out for us. We would appreciate that. If you're not subscribed to wherever you're watching or the other guys, I would appreciate you doing that. That would mean a lot to me, and I'm sure it would to these guys as well.
Yeah. And sorry, just to reiterate on that
Yeah.
point, or to emphasize that point, the more you press like, the more people will come in. And it happens almost immediately. So it makes a better discussion for everybody. Sorry, Shawn.
No, you're fine, man. Either one of you guys jump in whenever it's as much you guys as me. I'm the low guy on the totem pole. I'm listening to you guys tonight, learning from you guys. Uh Live Life ET, or excuse me, Live Life. I'm telling you, man, my reading, my brain's sped up, and sometimes it still kicks off. Hello, I was vegan for 5 years and sick, anemic, and gained a lot of weight. I'm keto carnivore for 2 months now. Why would I be gaining weight? I eat more meat than vegetables. 95% is meat. Well, I would say that a lot of times coming from a diet where you're not getting a lot of the nutrients that you need for your body to function correctly, is, in my opinion, and obviously there's many factors that are at play there. Your body's going to start getting those nutrients, and it's going to start uptaking them and absorbing them and putting them to work, because you have basically come from a way where you weren't getting what you needed, and now you are getting what you needed. That's one of the reasons why I feel like. Kerry, do you got something else on that?
Yeah, so my daughter Emma was a vegan for 5 years. She's been carnivore for 32 days now. And she's actually, I think she said she's gained a little bit of weight. Frankly, she needed to. And I think, Shawn, you're right on. You could see like a light switch go off when she switched the first time she ate bacon, which is her favorite food now, too. Like, who's who doesn't love bacon, right? But I think that's what happened is her body was just starving for these nutrients. She feels so much better. Her sleep's improved. Everything's improved. And I think her body's just like, give me more. And she's consuming more, and her body's putting on a little bit of weight because of that. So Yeah, I don't know what else it would be. And like I said, she's actually eating more than I am, and I still eat a pretty good deal. But yeah, I think that's what it is.
Awesome. Dave, you got anything about that?
Yeah, I would just kind of to support what you guys have said. Like we can't decide exactly what our body's going to do, right? So you're adding all this extra nutrition and vitamins that your body hasn't had. Your body's going to prioritize what it needs to do, and losing weight might not be the highest priority thing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, I mean, you start giving it the nutrition, the cholesterol starts going up. It's going to start, obviously, it's going to be, you're going to get your hormones are going to start picking up. I mean, there's so many things going on. Your body is, I will say this though, from everyone in this space, from everyone that I hear, your body is extremely efficient at maintaining itself and correcting the problems. If you didn't see the Bart K video that I put out earlier today, go check that out. He said there's even the 60, 70, 80-year-old folks that, oftentimes think, well, I've done this or that or whatever, and it's just whatever, taking me longer. He says even at, that age, the likelihood that you're not going to reverse a lot of the issues with your body, like you can, and the body is great at doing it. And the decline in our ability to reverse a lot of those issues, really starts the most close to the point of death, not really slowly as we get older. Nevertheless, watch the video. It'll help you out with that topic too. Sorry, I'm rambling. John, do any of you ever see adding anything back to your way of eating, such as vegetables or low carb fruit? Kerry?
No, never. In fact, I just did a video where I said I made the realization. I woke up one morning. I'm like, whoa, I'm never gonna. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm never having a grain of sugar, no vegetables, no fruit. Never again. I I've done keto for years before doing carnivore, and every now and then I'd be like, "Ah, I just need some fruit or something." And every single time, I never once did that. And the day after was like, "Gee, that was great. I feel so much better now." I always felt horrible and inflamed and stomach issues, gurgling, all sorts of problems. So, I thought when I first started this, I was like, "I'm going to do this for 30 days." At the end of 30 days, I'm going to be sick of steak. I'm going to be craving vegetables or fruit. But honestly, 100% that never happened. I I I don't have any cravings for those things, and they've never helped me in the past. So I don't intend to. What about you, Dave?
Same. No. Flat no. Never gonna try it again. I'm happy eating this way forever. Yeah,
Yeah,
Shawn?
I'm the same way. Like I don't like what I eat right now. I don't plan to change it. I mean, I don't even plan to go back to full carnivore. Honestly, as long as I feel like I feel right now with what I'm eating with steak and eggs, there's no way I'm switching this up, man. I feel way too good all the time. Uh, so absolutely not. Carlos, welcome, sir. Do either of you, excuse me, do either of you have an ultimate goal, weight loss, looking shredded, etc.? Dave, what about you, man? You got an ultimate goal of where you want to be at?
So shout out to Kip. Kip fixed my weight issues around my middle by telling me to give up cheese or suggesting I give up cheese. But the ultimate goal for me now is just to build my chest and maybe my arms a little bit. They're still a little bit Michael Gregorish, but yeah, fix up the arms and the chest. How about you, Kerry?
Oh, initially I had a weight loss goal, and I've reached that goal. And that was one very interesting thing. Is like I said, I did keto for many, many years, and I could never get down to 185 pounds. At my heaviest, I was 260. But I got pretty darn close on keto a couple of years ago, and no matter what I would do, it's kind of like you were saying, Shawn. It's like it was amazing. My body would just hold on to it no matter what. I was getting so pissed too. I was like, I'm gonna do a 5-day water fast. I did a 5-day water fast. I still couldn't get down to the 185. And on carnivore, I was able to hit that. Um, Now I'm trying to get maybe 10 pounds lighter, but I don't really care about it that much. The biggest long-term goal for me is, maybe this is kind of an unusual one, but I don't want all of these amazing things that I'm feeling on carnivore to become normal to me. Uh, that's one weird thing with the human brain. Like the way I used to eat was normal, and now I feel like I'm living in the twilight zone when I see people eating that way and doing things like that. And it's just weird, like how the human brain, we take things for granted. Just like we're talking to you guys, and there's hundreds of people on here, or flying in a plane. It's pretty amazing if you think about it. But we're just like, oh, that's normal. There's a plane up there with a couple hundred people flying overhead. So yeah, I'm rambling now, but I don't want these things to feel normal. My sleep has been amazing. My mood has been awesome. I said in a previous video, I've never been happier, where I don't want anything. I want for nothing anymore. The carnivore's been so great. So trying to avoid having that become normal and taken for granted, I guess, would be a long-term goal for me.
That's amazing, man. Like it's the contentment and it's almost like I hate to use the word of euphoria, but I mean it's almost like a euphoria. It's not like a high euphoria, but like a I'm at peace euphoria with like I don't have aches, I don't have pains, I don't have like super stress. Even whenever I get mad, typically it doesn't, like I can work my way through that, even that issue, or I get aggravated, I can work my way through that issue so much more effectively than ever before. But yeah, 190 pounds was my goal when I started, because I never thought I'd get there, and I'm almost there, and that was the only goal I have set. Hopefully I can work out some too. But Jennifer, Dave, I'm sorry. I am new. I think I missed you saying, but how long have you been doing carnivore?
12 months.
12 months.
Yeah.
My mama got a question. She didn't put a Q by it, though. No, I'm just kidding. I apologize, Mama. Don't hurt me. She'll spank her 40-year-old son. She don't play. What are your recommendations for snacks? Sometimes I just want a snack, and bacon is all I know. I was gonna say bacon, but you took it. Like Kerry, you got it. I know Kerry has. Kerry's probably got something. What about?
Sure. Today I tried a snack. Actually, it's good timing for that question. I tried the carnivore snacks. I don't know if you guys have seen those. I know there's carnivore crisps, carnivore snacks. They're very expensive though. Honestly, I was gonna try these snacks and then maybe promote them on the channel. I don't think I'm gonna do that. They're very good, and if you're traveling, I think they're great, but they're very expensive. But my honest thing was, after thinking about it and trying them more, I was like, I just don't snack. I eat a big steak or something, and I used to snack before carnivore, but I don't ever really get hungry. I guess the closest thing I have for a snack or grabbing something that's quick and convenient would be hard-boiled eggs. So sometimes I'll have a steak and maybe I'm getting impatient, so I'll have a couple hard-boiled eggs. But other than that, there isn't much. Just those carnivore snacks I've tried. Anything for you, Dave?
Yeah, I agree with the hard boiled eggs. If you boil some of those up, just keep them in the fridge, and of course, a lot of people are saying in the comments pork rinds. But other than that, if you can tolerate dairy, I would go for butter or a bit of cheese.
Awesome. Sorry, I missed this. I had to jump back onto it. Enjoying your channels, Dr. Barry encouraged me to film my experience with carnivore and curing chronic candida. 36 days and lifelong symptoms are gone. Amazing. Huzzah. I mean, and what would you trade that for? I mean, honestly, like if somebody had told you, a long time ago, you could just eat meat, eat carnivore, change your dietary, and a lot of those problems are going to go away. It's amazing. Congratulations to you.
Congrats.
Make sure and tell people. That's why I encourage you guys. Get the word out. Jennifer Thompson. I am 10 days carnivore. Is it normal to still be feeling hunger after eating a steak for one meal and beef patties at the next?
You-
Go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
I would just say 10 days is a really short time to evaluate anything. I would say like your body is going to have cravings for everything for quite some time. I would say just kind of stick with it, and if you're feeling hungry, just eat, but just eat carnivore. Kerry, what do you want to add?
Yeah, I would just add to what Dave said. 10 days is a pretty short amount of time. The other thing I always tell people is those first 10 days or so, or 2 weeks or whatever, you're very early, but I wouldn't even worry about that. Just eat carnivore, like Dave said. And I spoiled myself like going into it. I'm like, I'm definitely doing this for 30 days. And the first 10 days, I'm going to eat really good. And because it can be really hard getting into ketosis, and you go through so much water and you may experience the keto flu. So I would say don't worry about it. Kind of spoil yourself and give it a little bit more time. You should be fine. Like Dr. Barry always says, eat till you're comfortably full.
I agree, because like a lot of the issues that people have coming into carnivore is that their ghrelin and their leptin isn't working correctly, because it gets driven out because of the the toxins that we eat in the standard American diet, and the sugar and carbs that we absorb from before, and it gets, I guess, triggered all the time because that food doesn't satiate you correctly, or whatever the case may be. So you got to get those hormone signals working again and figure out what's real hunger and what's, desires, or, whatever. Or it could be, like I said, the hormones just aren't functioning correctly, So that's one thing to think about too. And maybe something to just over time. Eat till you're full. Comfortably stuffed is the best advice. How much water do you drink in a day? Kerry, do you have a particular amount that you try to reach?
I don't measure anything on carnivore. I drink a ton of water, I'll tell you that though. And especially that the first week or 10 days. I was very fortunate. I listened to Dr. Barry and some advice, and so I had the electrolytes and a lot of water, and I didn't get the keto flu. That's one thing that scares me on my channels. I'll get a lot of people that are like, "This is great. I'm starting carnivore right now. I'm going to buy steaks." And it's like, you got to make sure to do it right and get plenty of water and electrolytes and things like that. But I don't measure any food, calories, carbs, or anything. I just eat strictly beef, butter, bacon, eggs, and drink a lot of water. So, what about you, Dave?
I have about. I'm just trying to do the conversion now. I'm drinking about 4 liters of water, which I guess is 135 ounces. I don't know if you measure water or not. I'm not sure in the States, but yeah, 4 liters.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
All right. All right. I got you. Yeah.
I think that's about a gallon. About a gallon or so.
That's what I was trying to think. I was trying to think of two 2 liters. How about that? 4 liters. 2 liters. How about that? No, I mean, whenever I first started, I would drink 2 64-ounce tumblers full. That's all I know. But like I've always heard everybody say, just drink to thirst. That's what's required. But like Kerry said, like especially at first, because I think whenever you're transitioning, like you're getting that water weight out and you're just flushing your body out. For some reason, I was super thirsty, So, but I mean, it's not like you have to have a goal. Like you don't have to do these 2 gallons a day, those kinds of things either. So, if you're thirsty, drink. But make sure if you're doing carnivore that you keep a check on your electrolytes. You don't want to just drown out your electrolytes and flush your system out to where that becomes an issue either. So, Susan says, what is ketovore? Is that like dirty carnivore? I'm transitioning from 5 years clean keto to carnivore. So ketovore, so to the best of my understanding, keto is 20 carbs or less per day. Ketovore is 10 carbs or less a day. And then carnivore obviously is 0 carbs. And that's the best way I've ever heard explained. Do you guys have any different
I've
explanations?
heard I've heard the same thing. I've heard Dr. Barry and Nisha say exactly what you just said, but I guess with the distinction that it's actual carbs and you're not discounting for things like fiber and stuff like that. So, which is very important because when I used to do keto way back, you would always look for that fiber, like, oh, I can get a couple extra carbs in here for that, but that's straight up carbs. Same definition.
Yeah, you're talking about like the net carbs thing, like you would see on the Atkins bars and all this kind of. Yeah. I remember that kind of stuff from way back. Yeah, I think yeah, what you said sounds right to me as well. But yeah, so I guess ketovore is kind of dirty carnivore.
Right.
Yeah. Close enough. Oh, let's see here. Think about it. Says, is there a good protein drink that goes along with carnivore? Is plant-based or way better? What about fiber such as Metamucil? I am over 60. Dave, you want to take a shot at that? I don't know, like, which one?
Okay.
That's why I'm
Okay.
asking.
So, look, first, let me put out there, I'm not a doctor. I know not what I talk about, but so look, I would say I don't think you need fiber. If you're eating enough fat, you don't need fiber. My experience, you can control what's going on down there based on the amount of fat that you eat every day. Right. If it's coming up way too fast, then you need to reduce the fat and vice versa. And as far as a protein drink, I would say neither plant-based or whey. I would say focus on eating steak and salt and bacon or whatever you want to eat to get your protein. Don't worry about trying to get it in liquid form. Kerry, did you want to add anything?
No, that was good. That is a big question I get. Fiber. It's just from my perspective, it has not been an issue at all. I don't need any fiber at all, and I'm regular and happy and normal. I always tell people too, they're like, well, do you go less often? And I'm like, yeah, it's because I'm not putting all that junk in I used to. I mean, prior to this, it was breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, junk food, and it's just a bunch of waste in, waste out. So now I go every couple of days, but it has nothing to do with constipation. It's just normal and regular. So yeah, the only thing I drink is water. That's it. So I don't know, Shawn, do you have anything else?
The main thing that I would say is don't there, unless there's a specific reason why, don't drink your protein, man. You don't have to drink your back in the day they would say don't drink your calories. You know, people would say, you know, that drink a lot. They would say don't drink your calories, it's not good for you. Well, I mean, I just carry that over and just there's all protein is not created equal. So yes, you may be able to drink your protein shakes and your whey protein and but there's different amounts of absorption and your body's ability to use that. So the best way that we are designed to get protein up, absorb it, and use it is through the meat of animals. So that would be my best shot at that. The furthest away you can get from plants is what I'm realizing is the better, because as Professor Cave has said today, they put off the toxic stuff that destroys our body. So um, I hope that helped. And the good thing about being I'm over 60 is you're still alive and kicking and it's not over, brother. So or sister, it may be a sister. I don't know. Think about it. I'm trying to think about it. Whoever it is, you're still alive and kicking and there's still chance and hope for you. Oh, let's see here. I'm sorry. I'm trying to pull this. We got a super chat, but I'm trying to figure out why it won't pull up. There we go. Kimberly Lanes, I think ketovore is a good label for anyone who doesn't want to be criticized in how they do their carnivore. And I get that for sure. Well, absolutely. I feel like personally that everybody can tolerate a different level, and people have to do what's sustainable for them. And while I feel like for me, BBBE is the best thing to do, and I suggest, if you got a lot of weight and you want to see it going quick, that'd probably be the best thing from my experience for you to do. Maybe ketovore is where you want to be, and that's what you can sustain, and or maybe it's keto, maybe it's low carb. It's all that on the ketogenic spectrum is way better than the standard American diet. So that's what I suggest. And people need to realize that not everybody can just jump on one thing or the other. So anybody, you guys want to add anything to that?
No, I just was thinking, it just made me laugh a little bit. When I was doing keto for years, how much keto would get criticized. People would criticize me for keto. I'm like, I'm thinking about it, I was like, I'd eat a salad for lunch, a salad for dinner, and like maybe some chicken or something. And that was just crazy to so many people. And meanwhile, it was usually people that were just eating horrible junk food. But yeah, I totally get it with the criticism. I think there's a lot of people in the carnivore closet, so to speak, because it's just not worth talking about it.
Mm-hmm. That's it. Dave, you got anything to add? No.
Look, yeah. I mean, only to say what Kerry just shared there is certainly my experience as well. I remember 20 years ago doing Atkins, and you're doing Atkins, you're still having a salad or something, and you're having high quality foods, but everyone was looking at you like, what are you doing? So I think the way people look at carnivores now is, the way they looked at low carb or keto back then.
I mean, it's easy, man. It's easy to get, because what you're telling yourself to keep you accountable to the diet may be that this is the only thing that you can do. This is the only thing that's right. In my case, and I'm not speaking for anybody else, I'm speaking for me. This is what you need. This is what you have to do. Focus on this, do this, focus on this. Until you're like, this is the only way to do it. Focus on this. And then everything else outside of that becomes just the wrong thing to do, the difference between ketovore and carnivore is like that. 20 carbs, come on now. It is like, that's 20 carbs a day. Total carbs is nothing, You're still eating a mostly meat diet. I mean, I don't know. Maybe somebody else sees something I don't see, but that's where I'm at with that completely. Cynthia says, have any of you cheated on the carnivore diet? If so, did you reset, and how long did it take to fix it? Well, I'll start off. I won't even pass that one off. Yeah, I have eaten off plan. It's been the same thing every single time, and it was Texas fajitas. Other than Thanksgiving, when I went to my brother's house, I did have the regular Thanksgiving meal. I have not had bread the entire time. I always had limitations on myself because I had a plan in place that if I ever ate off plan, this is what it's going to be, and it has to be confined to one meal. There can't be enough for leftovers. I have parameters. I had a plan. Like, once I got going good on this, I made a plan, and that's why I suggest so much for others to do the same. But what about you, Kerry?
I haven't, but I'm not judging anyone that has. I have on keto many times. I used to have a cheat day, but I have not on carnivore in the last 82 days. But these guys have been going a lot longer than me. But I've said it before. For me, everyone's different. I have such a highly addictive behavior. If I cheated a little bit, I would go completely off the rails. I treat it like I was addicted to a horrible drug for 42 years, and I was able to overcome it. And so I'm not going to go back like we were saying earlier. If I was addicted to heroin and I quit heroin after 42 years, I wouldn't be like, oh, I'll go have a little bit on the weekend, because it would just ruin me. But that's my particular mindset. I've always had a very highly addictive behavior. So yeah, what about you, Dave?
Yeah, I think, Kerry, I'm very similar to you. I haven't cheated, and I would link carbohydrate and certainly sugar very similar to the way I would alcohol. If I have another drink, then it's just all on again. If I have another ice cream or piece of bread or whatever, it's all on again. Like I just can't control that. So now that it's out, it's got to stay out.
I feel like a loser.
Hey, I said this to you the other day, though, Shawn. You've done nothing wrong, my friend. 243 pounds in 1 year. I think you did just fine. It's unbelievable what you've done.
Well,
I'm so weird that way. Like, I'm so on the other end. I'm just freaked out about it. This is kind of funny, but I've actually had a reoccurring nightmare a couple times now. It was a birthday party in this nightmare, and someone threw a piece of birthday cake and it hit the wall next to me. And in slow motion, just a little piece of frosting was coming right towards my lip. I'm like, no, like slow motion. I swear I've had this dream like 3 times now. It's like my worst fear, like that hits my lip on the floor.
When you start out, like I've heard that a bunch of times in our group, and I used to have that stuff. I have woke up when I was transitioning, like the first month, like going into carnivore, because it was like months before I even had the plan, like my cheat plan. And I don't even want to call it a cheat, because honestly, can you really cheat if you have a plan for it? Like if I was going to eat something other than what it had, it was literally a decision, because that's all I've done. Cheating, I think, is like you just slip up and have this or whatever. But it was eating off plan, so you can call it whatever you want to call it. But that same nightmare, that's how I knew something was different, because like I'm having nightmares about my food now. Like I've had nightmares about all kinds of stuff. Food has never been included. So I think we covered it all. And how long did it take to fix it? I eat so strict and all the time that like I could tell that my mind wanted something, off plan. But as far as my body and my weight loss, I never like. Usually, at most a day or two, I would like see the scale not move. But then like I said, I was back on plan the very next meal and hammering it out. And I always tell people that your body rejects the toxic food whenever you get it used to eating this way, the same way that when you were eating the toxic stuff, rejects the good food then. So just the opposite way. And maybe I'm wrong in that. I don't know. Oh, that's funny. I like that story. Susan says, I am transitioning from keto to carnivore. I have done 16/8 intermittent fasting for 4.5 years. Should I continue intermittent fasting on carnivore? I honestly don't get hungry up until 2 p.m. or later every day. Kerry, you went from keto to carnivore. What do you think about that?
Yeah, awesome comment, Susan. I've seen you comment quite a few times. Appreciate it. I would just kind of try and see if you're doing fine on keto. I would say do it. I know there's lots of other benefits to intermittent fasting all around. So if you can do it, do it. But if you start up and you're like, oh, I'm a little hungry, don't kill yourself, especially that first 10 days, like we were talking about earlier. Like I said, I went into it and I said, I'm going to do this for 30 days. That's it. And I'm going to plan it as much as I can, have as much control as I can in those first couple days. I'm going to have some big steaks. I'm going to spend more of my budget those first couple days just to make sure I can get through it. So I would just say, do what you can, try it, see how you feel. And if you're still a little hungry, go ahead and eat until you're comfortably full. Mm-hmm. What do you think, Dave?
Yeah, I would give it a try. But yeah, I agree. Don't push it. If you feel hungry, just eat. But if you're comfortable in intermittent fasting on keto, it's probably going to be all right on carnivore. Mm-hmm. But yeah, if you get hungry, then don't be afraid to lash out. Shawn.
Oh, I agree. I can't really add a whole lot to what you guys have said. I mean, I would just fill up on what you can have, make it sustainable, because no matter whether you're going from keto to carnivore to BBBE, or BBBE to the Lion diet, you're going to go through a transition period where your body is cycling out whatever you're getting out of the food that you were eating before. And it's going to affect you a little bit differently from what I've seen. Even going over to what I'm doing now, I'm just eating steak and butter with my coffee and water this month for the challenge, and just getting rid of the eggs. I can tell a difference in my body. So let's see here. I already hit the super chat. I must have been like I'm way behind, dude. I'm like 30 minutes. Ain't no telling where we made it. Wick says, if you had to choose one thing, what do you feel like the best changes you've seen from Carnivore are? Man, who wants to take that first?
I'll take a shot.
Go for it.
That's a great question. There's
Yeah.
been so many. For me, it's been sleep. I think there's a bunch of downstream effects because of the sleep, so I guess that's why I'm picking sleep. But I used to snore for years before going on Carnivore. I haven't snored in 82 days, and my sleep is just so much deeper. I wake up and I'm so rejuvenated, so relaxed. I haven't been sick in 82 days. I think if you get proper sleep, it helps your immune system and lots of other things kind of downstream. And I don't know. I've seen a couple of podcasts with this guy. His name is Matthew Walker. He's a sleep specialist, and it was very interesting. He was saying like so many people don't realize how important sleep is. A lot of people will be like, "I got 8 hours, I'm good," but his point was you could get 20 hours of sleep, and you could wake up with big bags under your eyes, and you didn't get into that very deep, important regenerative sleep. And I feel like on Carnivore was like the first time in my life I've gotten into that sleep. I used to be on a CPAP machine before this, and I was snoring all the time, and so the sleep has been the biggest one for me. What about you, Dave?
For me, it has to be the arthritis, because it just becomes so debilitating and so exhausting to walk anywhere that it's just there's a lightness in my body that if I ever get a twinge in the knee that had the arthritis, I'm like, oh, I remember what that was like. Okay, yeah, I'm never going back there. So that has to be the biggest thing for me, I think. Shawn, how about you?
I was waiting for that question, honestly.
Mhm.
Seriously, dude, there is nothing in the world better than getting out of that depression. Not one, like the weight loss, not the diabetes, not one bit of it. Living with hopelessness, man, living with in a condition where you just can't function, you can't make yourself do anything. That honestly to me is worth the price of admission right there. It's all worth it for me. I would have done it if I hadn't lost a pound just to get out from where I was at. 100%. And I'm being dead honest. I know I say I qualify it with this every time that people are like, yeah, but you lost weight like crazy. I'm telling you, that depression and laying on this couch that I'm sitting here talking on tonight for 3 years, not caring if I saw tomorrow, man, listen, they can't nothing in the world beat that, dude. It was worth every bit of that. That's something a pill can't fix. But obviously the depression, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, the type 2 diabetes, the hypertension, the sleep apnea. I just put a post on Shawn Baker's Instagram, which I'm trying to learn now. I said, all these things, the gout, the non-alcoholic fatty liver, time after time after time, the skin issues, the always feeling tired, the breathing problems, all that stuff is great. None of it touches the depression, but don't worry, because I'm gonna keep going. We got a minute. Because my marriage is better. I can be a dad to my kids. I can do stuff with my family. I don't have to worry about whether I can, fit in somewhere anymore. I don't have to worry about, the psychological issues from, sitting there depressed, thinking stuff is going to come true that's not coming true. And, there's so many different issues that are fixed. So yeah, 100%, brother. Like that's the depression is number one on that list for me.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
that's a great question. There's so many. You could just list them
Mhm.
forever, but I totally hear you. And the that's one thing I think that's hard to quantify to people that haven't done Carnivore is everything else in my life has changed. The weight loss, that's great, whatever, I don't care, but everything else has changed. And I was in such a brain fog before as well. And I feel like I'm so much more productive now. I was going to ask you two guys that. I mean, how do you feel? I think I know your answer, Shawn, with the depression and stuff before, but even like you, Dave, you're cranking out some amazing YouTube videos. And would any of that been possible before Carnivore, or would it been like for me? It was like I was doing a fraction of what I'm doing now, and I seem to have clear thinking, better decisions, no brain fog, and just more motivation. And I'm just everything is just completely different now for me. I don't know. What about you, Dave?
Yeah. I would say it's definitely my experience. It mirrors yours, and it's I talked about this once in a video, and it's almost like the feeling in my mind now, which I never had before, was okay, what's next? I finished that thing. What's next?
Yeah.
What's next? What's the next challenge? What's the next thing to do? You know, and it's just everything's so much more productive, everything's so much more efficient. And I think I actually fall into the trap of a lot of putting that solely on the fact that I'm eating once a day. And I think there's a lot of the food point is important, like the food point about you're not thinking about food anymore. You only have to prepare a meal once or twice a day. That does make you more efficient and productive. But it's more than that. And it's it's the change in your body, the change in your thinking, the change in everything because of carnivore that that does seem to make things more productive and efficient and stuff. Yeah, definitely.
100%.
Mm.
I think, yeah, that clear mind, you just can't. Man, there's so many good things, dude. I don't know. I could go on and on and on and on about that, but um, let's see. I missed two more super chats. I got to hit them next first. I guess I would say.
Oh well.
Loves to sponge. Thank you so much. Spooge, maybe I did. Loves to spooge. Thanks. I had a heart attack. 38 years old. Just 2 years off vegan diet. Completely bought into carnivore at this point. Refused government lies now. Yeah, that's gonna be one of the absolute best decisions of your life. Get on it. 100%. That's one of the best things you can do for yourself is give yourself the proper nutrition, proper human diet. Any of you guys got anything to add on that note?
No, good job.
No, yeah, congratulations.
Absolutely. Kimberly, y'all made my Saturday night. I've had several instances of being so happy I'm almost giddy since starting carnivore. It's crazy. Have you had this?
I,
Go,
I,
go ahead.
oh,
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. I
No,
was
go
just
ahead.
gonna say, I like around day 50, I was in my car and I did a YouTube short because I had to document this. Well, you said the word earlier, Shawn. I just had this euphoric feeling. I was like, I had a big smile on my face. I'm like, I don't remember ever feeling so happy before, and there was no reason for it. No event, nothing happened. I didn't even eat like an amazing steak before, which sometimes you get that close feeling like I feel great now, but it was so weird. And that's happened a couple times. That didn't happen for me until like around day 50. I've heard other people talk about that too. I don't know if it's I'm finally getting all the cholesterol and my hormones are balancing out and things like that. But yeah, it was crazy. I've never felt that happy before.
Oh my goodness. Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, guys, but like I had to switch over scenes to find the super chat because it popped up, and I lost my place in the question. So, I guess what I'm going to do is start with the very next one that I come to. If I missed your question, either put it back in the chat or put it in the comments underneath the video. I apologize, but I had to switch scenes or switch screens. Blame it all on me. Oh, did we finish that question? I'm sorry. I'm like just at a loss right now.
Oh, yeah. So I had the
I think
euphoric
it's
feeling, Dave. You?
oh I had a similar experience about 2 months in where I was just walking to work and I was like, oh wow,
Oh yeah.
this is weird. This is weird. And it's interesting we're talking about this because I remember watching another carnivore's short, Kent Carnivore. He's got a short where he had been doing it. I'm not sure of the time frame, but it was it was a month or two after he started, and he had to pull over to the side of the road and record himself just talking about it because he was like, this is unbelievable, you know, like the depression just kind of lifting, you know.
That you
Yeah.
that feeling of euphoria, man. Like whenever, like the walking video, when I said motivation follows action, that's kind of where that came from because I felt so good. Like I literally went walking on my own. Like it's not a big deal to a lot of people when they can just go walk. I hadn't walked in a long time. So not only was I not used to walking, and obviously you can tell from the video that I didn't do it very much. Like me deciding to go out there and do that, like because I had so much energy, I felt so good. I'm like, man, I'm bouncing off the walls. What in the world can I do? So yeah, that euphoria is amazing. Like I feel like there's times, and it wasn't just one time. I mean, it's like, I hate to describe it as like that high, but it's like it as I gradually cleaned out my diet, that became how my body felt. And I mean, it's not like that weird. I think of euphoria as like this feeling you get whenever you're in a state of highness or something like that, affected by something, medication or something. But I mean, it's almost like a weaker form of that, not like the feeling in your body, but like a sense of peace and, just feeling better, so much better than you normal before, Does that make sense?
Mm.
Uh, But yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you guys for the support. Hit the like buttons, man. Hit the likes, push the videos out. I got 75 folks on mine and I got like 69 likes. So almost all of you guys have hit it. I appreciate you guys doing that. I hope that I can't see their channels. I hope it's the same way. Push the videos out. Let me get caught up on some of these questions. Do muscle mass increase on carnivore without exercise? This is a real I know you're not going to lose muscle mass eating the protein and fat. Do you guys have anything else better for the exercise muscle mass without exercising?
I didn't do hardly any exercise for the first several weeks, and the last couple of weeks I have been. So I've been like lifting weights and things like that. It seems like I'm building muscle way faster than I have my entire life. It could just be a bias because I'm very enthusiastic about carnivore, but I don't know. I know like bodybuilders and stuff, they eat a lot of protein and that's all I eat. So it feels like muscle goes on a lot easier for me. It could be just an anecdotal experience, but that's what it feels like from my perspective. What about you, Dave?
Yeah, I would say exactly the same thing. It feels like it does build easier, and even if you're not really doing much, it seems that you are maintaining at least, a good amount of muscle. Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's see here. Scrolling through. Yeah. That's going to be one of the nicest things. And dear, I think it was the first interview that I did with Bart, Professor K, excuse me, on his channel. We talked about, how to grow the proper way of growing and maintaining that muscle mass. So, one guy on my channel is actually underweight and trying to gain weight. He's on the opposite side that most of us start out at, and it's protein and fats is going to help you do it. Even some of the elite folks that Professor K has worked with, they're seeing tremendous increase at a better level than they would have seen if they weren't eating the proper human diet, if they weren't eating the fat and protein only. It takes about, from my understanding, what he said, for them, it takes almost, between 6 months and a year even for that to move in a lot of times, or can take up to that long for them to see that kind of results in their training whenever they just switch over to it at that level. But it does happen. So that's cool. Being able to grow bigger, faster, get stronger. D says, Kerry, how long did it take you to not feel depressed anymore?
That is a very hard question to answer. I had horrible depression for years, and when I found keto, this was 10 or 12 years ago, that was the first time I noticed I could lower the depression a bit. But I was on so many different pills at that time. I would go to I don't know what you guys have experienced, but I would go to the doctor. They would try me with one of these SSRI pills, and then they'd say, "I know you're in horrible, suicidal, terrible depression, but just try this pill. It's going to take 3 months, and then we'll see after. It's not going to work for 3 months. You need to give it 3 months." So luckily I got through that 3 months and it didn't do anything. I just felt like a zombie again. And then they would up the dosage and then they would up it a third time. And then I'm 9 months in and then they're like, oh, that one didn't work. Let's try another one. And so I had all these other things going on. So it's kind of hard for me to say, but I can say definitively when I started doing keto and getting off of all the crazy junk food and getting more, I think it was getting more protein and getting more cholesterol, which I think I was lacking before, I did start to see the depression lift slightly, but nothing like it's been on carnivore. And so when I started carnivore, I had some depression and I had really bad anxiety, but it wasn't to the level of depression I had in the past. I would say maybe around day 30 is when I really noticed it for me. And I guess I want to be careful saying that because everybody is so different. But I think it was around day 30 for me, especially with the anxiety. And from day 30 now to day 82, I haven't had any, like not even an inkling of depression or anxiety. And I was one of the most anxious people before. I think I said this before, but for my for my business, I would sometimes have to have conference calls with customers. And I kid you not, I would be on my lunch break before the conference call, and I'd be like, if I just drive my car into the tree, I can get out of doing this phone call. And it's just a phone call. It's just talking on the phone with somebody, but I would get so anxious about it. And I have none of that now. I heard someone talk about depression before where they're kind of like, when it's really, really bad, you're in a storm and it's like hail coming down and you can't stand up. You can't get out of bed. Even if you want to, you can't do anything. And I've had that level before. And then always after that, I've always had a little bit where it's just maybe it's just raining or drizzling. And then I think when I started carnivore, I guess the best analogy was it was just really cloudy out at first. And now when I look up in the sky, there's no clouds. There's just it's unbelievable, but there's just zero anxiety. Prior to this, I would not be doing this for sure. I wouldn't be talking to you guys. I would be crashing my car into a tree instead of doing this. I would have been so anxious. So sorry, I wish I had a better answer for you. There's so many variables. I would say around day 30 is when I noticed it on carnivore. What about you, Shawn? Because I know that was your big thing.
It was probably about around the same time. I know it was under that video that I made was on July the 3rd, and I started in April. So April, May, June, July. So there's no like within 3 months. I mean, I think it was between 30 days and 60 days, right in that time period, because I had felt so good and just like done all kinds of things around the house and whatever that I was running out. I'm like, all right, so we're doing a challenge to walk. I'm definitely got to do something. And we went on vacation. I came back and made that video. So it was like 30 to 60 days, somewhere right in there. And that, like, it was, I was a different person. And I mean, you know, most of you guys have seen the video with me and my wife on the channel, and she, talked about it as well. It went from bad to like completely like, who is this person in that amount of time? So it's amazing, man. I'm telling you. Now, is it going to happen for you in 30 to 60 days? I don't want to say one way or the other, but it can. And that's the hope, for it. I'm sorry, Dave. Like, see, I don't know what I'm doing tonight, boys. Like, I am.
That I mean, I've I mean, I had the blues and stuff like that, but I'd never been diagnosed with depression. I had to take meds or anything. So, I mean, for me, the change was really after that, the 1 or 2 months and just feeling that euphoria and that kind of thing. But other than that, maybe a slight reduction in anxiety, but that's all.
And I mean, it's still a big feat though, like because you're coming off of alcohol too. So I promise you, it's almost, I don't want to say the same, but it's not far off from being in that kind of condition and being, inebriated all the time. Now, I mean, obviously they're clinically defined differently. And I mean, I don't mean to be like slapstick about that at all. I'm being serious. Like, being depressed is being like, you're out of your mind in a lot of ways. And then being under the influence of alcohol, a lot of times you're the same way. So, I mean, you go through, like, then you come off and go through the withdrawal symptoms, and oftentimes that leads to stuff as well. So I feel like I think you're going to get the same exact. Everybody's going to get the start from whatever starting point they're at. They're going to see dramatic changes, and if you stick to it within the first 60 days, you're going to be able to tell something's changed in your life. Now, I'm not saying you're going to lose 300 pounds or you're going to lose 30 pounds, but maybe your mental health will improve on in some way, shape, or form. Lady Fritz, let's see. Some people say carnivore people are more prone to violence and aggression. What is your experience of this claim? Like these guys, us, come on. This is like the most loving people, like Kerry community that I've ever been a part of. Like, I don't know. I don't know who says that. I want to talk to them. I have had a couple of attacks over some weird topics and issues and stuff like that, and some mean people, but everybody has a bad day. We can look past it, but as far as the overall people and community, there, it's not even a guess. Dave, what you think? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think at the start of doing carnivore, your mood might be somewhat unbalanced, but I guess that's because your body's going through this massive change. But I wouldn't say, certainly from knowing myself and knowing the people I've met in this community, I wouldn't be thinking that it's that people are prone to violence and aggression. It's the most supportive community that I've ever been involved with.
Mm-hmm. Kerry?
Yeah, Kerry, any thoughts?
Yeah, I agree totally. Everyone I've met that's been a carnivore, I said this to someone the other day. There's this weird carnivore zen. Everyone is so chill and calm. I could see, like Dave said, the first week when you're getting off of sugar, you're getting off a big addiction. Maybe you get grumpier, you have some mood swings or things like that. But long term, every single person, I mean this sincerely, it's like these people are just awesome. It's like the carnivore zen. They got the glow, and everyone seems relaxed. So yeah, I haven't experienced any violence or aggression from carnivores yet.
Absolutely. Dave, I'm in Japan too. Do you eat yakitori or any other easy to access type foods in Japan?
So Kelsey, I don't eat yakitori, and for anyone that's not sure, yakitori is just chicken on a stick, grilled chicken on a stick. And that is that's only because I'm not a fan of chicken. But for me, I just go out to yakiniku restaurants all the time, and that's grilled beef restaurants, barbecue, Korean barbecue style restaurants. So you can often find tabehodai restaurants, which is basically all restaurants. You pay like $35, and you can just eat all the meat that you want for 2 hours. So they'll just keep bringing it to you, and you just keep grilling it up. So for me, that's the best thing in Japan. It's yakiniku.
There you go. I was hoping you was going to step in and say that, brother. I was like, you want me to? Like, nah. Thrifty reseller says, how much are they? I don't know do you guys know what she's talking about? Maybe the snacks you were talking about or something. Like, if you have to just put it in the comments, like what that is. I know we don't have long because I know Kerry's got to take off, but if you'll put it in the comments, I'll try to look for it. How important do you think it is to take supplements like Dr. Berry's recommended Keto Chow Daily Minerals? I wouldn't necessarily call the Keto Chow Daily Minerals a supplement. I guess it could be defined that way. It's electrolytes, and I feel like if you need we have to have sodium, we have to have magnesium, we have to have potassium. The daily minerals actually has iodine and trace minerals in it as well. Some of those, like your body literally has to have. Some of it you can get from meat, and some, like sodium, you're not getting that from your meat. So enough to maintain homeostasis in your body, or proper levels in your body. So as far as other kind of supplements, I don't know. I guess it all kind of depends for me where your blood levels are and what you're comfortable with doing. I mean, I should be taking vitamin D, and I don't, but my vitamin D is low. Um, the keto chow, if you're having cramps and you take some sodium and it fixes it, you're gonna take sodium next time you have that same cramp. You guys got anything different?
Yeah, nothing really to add to what you've said, Kerry.
No, sounds good.
Get them keto chow. I mean, it doesn't have to be keto chow if that's the thing. Like whatever kind of brand you want. I mean, it could be. They've got Element. You can make your own. They've got Redmond's real salt. You can do. There's what is it, Soleil water or whatever, however you say it. There's many brands. I'm not saying you got to buy Dr. Barry's brand or you got to buy this person's brand. I don't. That's not the thing at all. I don't. As long as you get what you need for your body, wherever you get it's fine. 50 days in now, was vegan 6 years. Why, when I sweat, does it burn and itch my skin? Anyone experience that? When you sweat, it burns your skin. I don't even want to. I don't want to guess at that. I would go see a doctor. Maybe I don't.
I would be considering going to the doctor too.
Yeah, I would go to if you anything that's burning you that's coming out of you, I would probably get that checked. I don't know how else to say that. I don't mean anything bad about
it. Shawn, that you summed that up perfectly. Anything that's burning you, that's coming out of you, you need to get it checked. That's
yeah. I don't know what else to say.
I was going to say that would be a good question for Dr. Barry on his live Q&A, but you're right. You should probably go see someone about that if it's burning. Get in there.
That would freak me out. I would. Carnivore Kip, who is that guy? He's supposed to be here with us. What are you doing, man? you think you're getting a day off or something? No, I'm just kidding. Who wants to see the video of me doing yoga dressed like a dude? Man, I ain't mess with you no more. I love that guy. Oh. Is putting lemon juice in your water considered not carnivore? I don't know. What animal does lemon juice come from? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's not carnivore, but I used it whenever I stopped drinking sodas to get on drinking just water. So, I mean, you do what's sustainable. I don't know if it's considered carnivore or not. Depends on who you ask and how they feel about it. But you got to do what works and sustainable for you. So obviously I'm not going to get through all these questions. How long you got to go, or Kerry, or
I got a little time left.
Okay. Let me push it on then. Or Dave, you got to go. I
got about 10 minutes.
Okay. All right, let's get it in. 10 more minutes. I'm still at like 30 minutes ago questions. I probably missed some because of the mishap on the screen. Oh, let's see here. DL, what advice do you have for a pack-a-day smoker? I think of quitting daily, but haven't been able to. I wonder if carnivore is more dangerous for smokers. Either of you guys smoke?
I used to.
Used to?
Nope. I would say I know how hard it is to quit smoking. When I was a smoker, I thought of quitting every day as well, and just couldn't. And I'd go, okay, today's the day I'm going to give up, and then I'd get to work, and everyone would be out having a smoke, and so I'd be like, okay, I'll just go and have that one with them, and then the cycle starts again. I would say, obviously you've got to do what's right for you and your body, but I would think that being on carnivore would be good for you to give you this a little bit more self-control to kind of kick the habit. My personal experience is just that carnivore just gives you so much more power that you didn't feel you had before over your impulses, that it might just be what you need to, when you do get that urge to say, okay, no, I'm just going to leave it for now. I don't know. Do you guys have any thoughts on that, Kerry?
I've never smoked, so I think you answered it perfectly. I don't have anything to add.
Yeah, I mean, I did smoke and I used dip, and I've been working for a long time to get off of that. So, the best thing I can offer you is that it's like any other addiction. You have to work your way through it, work towards it. But as far as getting on carnivore, you know, don't let smoke a pack a day smoker and then quitting and you know, I don't know. Don't let any of that. Don't let anything hold you back from giving yourself the proper nutrition. We're really efficient at talking our way out of doing what's best for us and finding anything we can to be the justifier. You know, I don't think carnivore, as long as you're human, the carnivore diet is for you because it's the proper human diet. It gives you all the essentials that you need in the way that you need them, so for your body to use them as the building blocks that it needs to continue on. And that means if you're a smoker, if you're a drinker, if you're whatever it is, as long as you're human, it's for you. And that's what I've heard the experts say, and that's what I would absolutely have to say, no matter what it is. um any thoughts on iron poisoning?
Nothing from me. I haven't heard of that before. That sounds like a good Dr. Barry question, or maybe Dave has something on that. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I would agree. Sounds like a good Dr. Berry question.
Yeah, I would ask Dr. Barry or Dr. Chapier, one of them. But like the only thing I can tell you about that is having donating blood. To the best of my understanding, your iron starts going up. But as far as iron poisoning, I mean, I don't even know. Like, are you saying, are we going to get iron poisoning from eating carnivore? Or I don't really. Maybe I need clarification on the answer for my or the question myself. Um, you're not going to get iron poisoning from eating the carnivore diet. Not that I've heard. Oh, you guys see anything I missed anywhere? Let's see. Dave is what I just it says Dave is out and about.
Yeah, Bob McBob has been. Is that Bob McBob?
Yeah, I just
Yeah,
happened
he's been posting a lot of these. Dave is out and about. Dave is in my pan and all this kind of thing. So
oh,
yeah,
really?
I've been a little bit puzzled about those, but yeah.
What is the one thing you guys would change right now? Like, if you like, about the process, because you changed the way you ate, whatever, and then obviously you had the Kerry had the YouTube thing going and completely like it just completely changed his what he's doing and like transformed him over the time. To my best of my understanding, like Dave came to the diet and then or the way of eating and then started the YouTube to as your kind of your mission kind of deal. And you had other stuff before that is basically how I understand it. And everybody knows my story, going carnivore for over a year and then starting my thing. What's one thing that if you could go back in time and tell yourself, other than, hey, eat carnivore, put proper human diet, about this journey, that would have been one of the best tips you could have gave yourself as you're starting carnivore about the whole YouTube experience and dealing with everything? Does that make sense? Or go,
about
go
the YouTube experience.
yeah, like the YouTube experience, like talking to yourself. What would you say? Hey, do this or don't do this or whatever. Any kind of advice you
What do you think, Kerry?
Ooh. I guess one thing I wish I would have started earlier that we're doing right now is the live streams. I've been doing YouTube for 8 years now, and this was after 8 years. I tried live streams like 2 or 3 years ago, and I had really good views on my channel, but the crowd, the homesteading crowd, just weren't into the live streams. This, though, I guess the biggest surprise for me is the carnivore community. I think Dave alluded to this earlier. It's just awesome. It's such a good community. I've had so many, like, I was going to do one 30-day video, and that was going to be it, because I'm usually doing homesteading videos or videos about our movie theater. And just the outreach and the inspiration and the comments have been amazing. So starting live stream earlier, I wish I would have done it, because I've been having a lot of fun. I think the other day I did it. We had a movie at the movie theater, and I'm like, I got an hour to kill. I'm just going to turn it on. And it's just great hearing from people. So many inspiring stories. Like, the other thing that's been amazing to me, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but the number of people that have been doing carnivore is way greater than I ever would have imagined. I'm running into people in my regular life. I had a lady coming to the movie theater today. She wrote me a little letter. She wanted me to give it to my mom because she's my mom's age, and she saw her on my channel, and she's doing carnivore. My dental hygienist I was talking to is doing carnivore. And then the comments I've been getting on YouTube from people like Carnivore Ron, who I had on my channel, but people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s that have been doing carnivore for years and are thriving. And they're actually reversing like aging, like aches and pains and stuff like that. They're outdoing all of their peers. That's been amazing. So I don't know. I guess on the YouTube front, I wish I would have done the live streams and more of the community stuff earlier, because it's a lot of fun.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, the love and support. I mean, it can't be emphasized enough. And that's why anybody that gets started in this, that's what I tell them, get involved in community, because you're going to get to know these people. And I don't know everybody, and I try to keep up with everybody, but like the people that are involved all the time, always in the chats, watching Dave, watching Kerry, watching me, watching Ken Berry, you get to know each other, and it's almost like you're traveling this journey together no matter where you are, and building a community. And that's so important, because there's lots of people out there who don't have that support system in place. So it's critical. It's important. And I guess we'll close out on this one, guys, because I know it's been about 10 minutes and Dave's got the jet. But Dave, have you ever visited the US?
Yes, I used to work there. Yeah. Go back to, when was it? 1997. I was working in LA. So probably I've heard from people that I should probably have broadened the number of places I visited while I was there, but I was only there for about 3 months. So I was working in South Figueroa Street, and also working across and living across the road, worked, which was not good for my drinking. So even though you have to drive everywhere in LA, it's really convenient for your alcohol abuse to live 1 block away from where you work, because so you can and walk past a few bars on the way home from work. So yeah.
Oh,
But I enjoyed my time in LA.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you got to come back, and then me and Kerry and all of us guys can get together and meet up and have a meetup. No,
Yeah.
it's a long way from over there, isn't it? I think I missed another super chat. Hold on. No, I think I did actually get that one. Sorry, Kimberly. I appreciate she was like dropping off donations all through the thing. I appreciate all you guys. I'm glad we were able to make your Saturday night. It makes my Saturday night every time we get together. That's why I think it's critical to hang out and continue to do that. You guys encourage me a ton, not just you guys in the chat. I love getting to know you guys and answering what questions we can, a little bit of encouragement. I love getting with these guys that come on the show, man, and forming relationships and friendships and working together and putting other people together. And no matter, you never know what's going to come of it. It all helps the mission. It all helps the goals. We're all working together, and it forms a tight community and builds it stronger. And the more people we can get involved and the more people we can reach, the more hope that we spread. And, then we're going to see our mark on the world. Obviously the diet's not the only thing, but it's a dang good place to start. I said it before, I'll say it again. I'm glad you guys could show up. I appreciate these guys being here and me being able to be with them and them having me and us coming to each other later. Kerry, obviously I'm looking forward to the movie, and that's all my rambling, guys. I know y'all got to go, but y'all got any last words you want to say before I shut it down? Tell everybody good night. Kerry?
Just thank you. This is awesome. I really appreciate it. Appreciate you both, Dave and Shawn. This was a lot of fun. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, brother.
Yeah, and yeah, thanks, Shawn. Thanks, Kerry, and thanks everyone that tuned in for being such a supportive community.
Absolutely. We love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Next time, Kerry, we're gonna have to bring him on and have her speak for a little while. You know, or not a little while. If she agrees to come on, have her come on and say everybody's proud of her. I've had a bunch of people on the channel ask about her, and they just want to encourage her. I think she's doing a fine job, and I'm proud of her too. But
Yeah, thank you. I'll let her know. She definitely wanted to. She's manning the concession stand at the movie theater above me right now. So we were a little short-handed, but next time for sure.
she's making it happen.
Yep.
Awesome. Until next time, guys, we'll see you guys next Saturday night. If whoever can be here, we'll see you then. Thank you guys for the support, the love, the encouragement, the donations, the gifts. And you guys stay strong and keep pushing forward. Good night.
Cheers, guys.